We are going live. I'm so excited. So excited. Always excited to be here in the ladies' lounge. Hey, y'all. What's going on? We how's everybody doing? How has been your week? Let me the chat. We are back. We are back. We are back. I hope y'all have y'all pen and paper ready. Okay. Don't say we didn't warn you now. Have your
Because
pen,
y'all
paper.
gonna
I
need
don't
them.
even care if you got to write it on a paper towel, a napkin, whatever it is you gotta do. Hey y'all. Hey, welcome back to the Ladies Lounge podcast where we empower, uplift, and give women the tools and men to win in real life. Today's conversation is for everybody who is tired of the commute. Are you tired of missing moments with your family or just ready for more freedom and flexibility? So, y'all, we are talking about how to go from endlessly job searching to getting hired. Working from home, this ain't no scam. It's not no guesswork. This is real. We're not AI, okay, y'all. This is real strategy behind landing a legitimate work from home job. So if you've ever said, I need something I could do from home, this episode is for you. This is going to be your step-by-step breakthrough. I told y'all. Now I'm gonna have some real heavy hitters come through, and it is up to you to pay attention to the nuggets that we are dropping in the ladies lounge. But before we get any further into this conversation tonight, y'all, we got to go over some house rules here in the ladies lounge. We just ask that you are respectful, ask questions, engage with us. We want to know what y'all thinking, how y'all feeling, any questions, concerns you have, outbursts. We listen, we listen, and we don't judge here. And most importantly, have fun. Life is already too serious enough, even though we are talking about a serious topic, with landing these jobs and securing that bag. But let me introduce y'all to Victoria. Welcome to the ladies lounge. I'm so excited.
Hey, thank you for having me.
Yes, we got Victoria in the house, y'all, and I can't wait. I can't wait to just let y'all know how we have met. um she's going to tell us a little bit more about herself. But first, we always like to just welcome our special guest with some icebreaker questions. And Victoria, I have two questions for you.
Yes, of
So,
course.
if your home had not if your home had energy, I'm sorry, that was for last week. What's the funniest or most unexpected thing that's happened to you while working from home?
Oh, I have a lot on. I really have a lot on. Um, I'm gonna say funny when the dudes try to flirt on the phone with me. Being that I can't hang up, I just have to ignore it. So I find it very funny. Even though the call is recorded, they do not care.
They don't. I've had some of those moments as well. And like you said, you can't really respond how we would,
Exactly.
but I let you know this call is being recorded for quality assurance purposes.
They do not care. So I get that pretty often working from home currently.
That is hilarious. Yes, I answer this one too. So let me tell y'all my funniest moment. I could share this now. Y'all, I actually fell asleep. So it was it was on this call, and like this person kept going and go. I ain't finna share the job or nothing like that. But like it was just one of those they just kept going, kept talking. And like you said, because we can't end the call, they I just let them go. And I mean, I was before I knew it, I had hit one of these, and I was like, "Oh my God, I done dozed off on the people." But that was my little funny, definitely unexpected moment. But next question: what's one thing you wish someone had told you before you started working from home?
I will say it is a mental thing. Even though you're working at home, it is a mental thing. You do have to prepare for it, and you do still have to act professional. But I will say everything that I know now, I pretty much learned on my own.
Now, you know what? You are absolutely correct about the whole mental thing because it's not
Yeah.
like on break time you go to the next room. I mean, unless you have family home, of course, but it's not
Right.
like if you are single, the kids at school, or even if your spouse is at work or something like that, and it's just you don't have like a break room you could go and talk to people.
At
So
all.
definitely, when you said about the mental part, that's what my brain went to. I'm
Yes.
gonna be honest. I really wish for me working from home that, it was talked about more so of really getting dressed for work versus like putting on pants. Okay. We're not talking about the upper half because if you work from home, when we on camera, we gonna look accordingly. But the bottom, we still in pajamas, socks, house shoes. We mismatching it when we have to be on camera. So I really wish that somebody would have told me about making sure that you keep on some fitted bottoms because big back does, it is a thing, right? So then you wonder
Yes.
why your waist all your waist all got up a couple of notches is because you get so comfortable in these work from home pajamas and lounge wears and stuff. So definitely
Yes.
wish that was something that was explained to me. But let's get into who is Victoria. Share a little about yourself.
Yeah, so Victoria, of course, she do have a work from home business, but she do taxes as well. So normally when the tax season do slow down, she may pick up something like extra. And I will say a little bit of like a year ago, I actually just had my 1 year anniversary with Work from Home Remote Empire. So yay to that. I will say I did start that group a little bit over a year ago. It picked up pretty fast. I will say I started from the bottom, like zero with that group. And then, like, the more that I start helping people and just, dropping what I knew, the group kind of grew really fast. But that's pretty much who she is.
Well, welcome again into the Ladies Lounge. And y'all, I met Victoria through this work from home group. And also my cousin, she know my cousin. Shout out to Vosha. Um, but let's I got a couple of more questions for you now. This is getting more
Yeah.
into like your story, your empire that you built here. So what made you step into the work from home world?
So being me that I know I'm a busy person, now I actually transitioned. So this is still, I would say fairly new, being that I came from a warehouse for like 6 years. So this is kind of like fairly new to me. I would say being that, I was having a hard time with babysitters. The babysitters are high now. I don't know about what you pay, but they are pretty high down here. So that's another reason why I started the whole work from home thing also, just to help other women also. And then I would say, it's something you don't have to settle for or you don't have to struggle. Even like with gas, you'll save gas. Like if you live in like a busy city, you're definitely saving a lot of headache with that also.
Well, that's good. Look, we appreciate you for making this space for us to go and have a legitimate place for resources and you don't have to worry
Yeah,
about if you're being scammed or your information is just out there because it's a lot, especially, and it's no shade to these other companies that are
right.
out there, but it's unfortunate that of course you have to worry about the safety of your information as well. Now, were you always working remotely or did life push you into that direction? I know you mentioned about like kids and things like that.
Yeah, so I would say life, being that, it was hard finding a babysitter and then I wanted more like control over my life and then meaning like I'm running a business and I'm trying to work. It didn't really work out for me. So I did find a solution to that. So I would say life really pushed it into me. I really started like I would say like my very first job working from home, I was making like $12 or $13. It was really like one of the things where get your experience and go. And then that how I moved up, got my experience, start going to higher corporate companies. I would say Voya Financial was my favorite one so far, but where I'm at now, I like even better. So it was just one of them things I say life, and it turned into a purpose.
Yeah, I'm with you with that because I remember going to work before working from home and being told that, it either wasn't a work from home wasn't a thing, or you
At
had
all.
to be, in seniority to even be able to work from home. But since the pandemic, took place and all of us had no choice but to be indoors, that's actually when how my work from home journey started. And I'm gonna be honest, I definitely like it. I would say the only con about it is just not having the people to, interact with when when you have your break time or you want to bounce some ideas or a call off to somebody else. It's not as easy to just lean over to someone.
Right.
In that aspect, but it definitely has a lot of perks, with, like we said, the commuting, and you don't have to worry about what you're going to take for lunch because you can just
Right.
walk into your kitchen area, or if you want to step outside and be in your own comfort of your own home. So those are the things that I would say, like, were the pros in it. Now, we do have a downside of everything, and I ask these questions because I want people to understand who the person is behind the brand. I do believe that is so important when we talk about the receipts, right? Because people just may
Hmm.
think that you could come from a place that you don't understand what it's like to be out here job searching. Oh, she just created this just for money and things of that nature. So share with us, if you have any, what struggles did you face when you were job searching?
So I would say, now I did get a lot of rejections at first. Now I didn't know how to create resumes at first. It was one of them things like it was a hit or miss. Hey, you need to try this on yourself before you go try it on other people. So it was one of them things like once I seen it started working for me, I'm like, I might as well just try this on other people. And it was one of the things where I started like when I first started out, I started like offering free service. That's basically how I built my brand. Like, hey, let me do this for you. I don't really take tests like that, but only thing you really need is like a strong resume, and we can get you in the door if you can pass your interview. So I would say that how pretty much that came about. Is basically try it on you first, and if you see it working, why not help other people?
Absolutely. And that's why it's just so important to just let people know, like, hey, I've been in the trenches too. Like, I know what this is like, I know what worked. So when we are, and not to jump ahead, but when we are out there saying there's not any jobs, no, there are, because not only are you posting them, but people are hiring. Only thing you could do is do so much, and then after that, it's left up to us, to just bring it on in, and like I said, secure that bag. Now, when did you realize that this could become a business and a movement?
So to be honest with you, I'm gonna say it took me like a 4 good 6 months. I'm not gonna lie to you because it was one of them things like, hey, this is not working, this ain't working, or you need to redo this. But I would say it took me like a 4 6 months to get things like down pat, and then that's when I start actually like taking clients, and actually create a website and doing the resumes, and I would say that how that pretty much picked up.
Okay. Look, and then within them 6 months, it's like, I know it took off after that. You probably are like,
Yeah,
whoa. Because I know I'm
yeah,
in the group, and I think it was just most recently you posted, like, oh, it was 100 jobs,
yeah.
that you posted. And I'm like, what? And don't get me wrong, I still be over there, still be applying myself, because you just always want to make sure that you are keeping your resume in rotation. That's just my opinion, but we'll get to that part. Now I want to talk about
Absolutely.
some of these myths and setting expectations that people have. What is the biggest myth people believe about working from home?
Oh, I would say I would say the biggest one. Hmm. You know what? We may have to come back to that one. We may have to come back to that one.
Probably so many, and
But
it's
it
like,
is, but it is a lot. I will say that it is a lot. I wouldn't say it's not so hard how they make it to be, but it's not so easy also. And I will say one resume doesn't fit all, but at the same time, you do want to make sure you have like the correct format because
Yeah.
I look at resumes all day, and I have like some of the top tier people coming to me for resume. I'm like, it's not a bad resume, it just needs a good format and better wording.
Right, right. So I believe because this is just me, what I hear when I let people know, hey, I work from home. The first thing people are like, "Oh, you don't do nothing."
Oh,
Like, what you mean I don't do nothing? Like, I know how to take that, and I get it from their aspect because they look at it like, well, you just sit there and all you doing is taking calls because it's not a labor job. I'm not out there working with my hands, but it's the mental part of it, like we said
exactly.
earlier, like mentally, just especially if you have to take calls, you are sitting there and you got to take it all. Like people call in and they dump on you,
Yes,
like it doesn't matter your field work that you're in. If they
right.
have a listening ear, they gonna go.
Yep, that's pretty much how it is. And then you have some call centers where you taking like 100 calls a day. So it's definitely like not one of them things where you just work from home and you chilling. You definitely have to be built for it for
Yes.
sure.
Now, this is, of course, we're speaking from just your experience. This is not for the many with this
Mhm.
next question, but why do so many people struggle to actually get hired?
I would say they feel like they feel like nobody is hiring. They're too qualified. They don't want to invest into resume help. Um, I will say that's the main struggle I have been seeing a lot. You got someone they don't even try. So I will say that's like what I've been seeing pretty much often here.
And sometimes for me, that's just like, but aren't you speaking life over yourself? When you are like, oh, I'm probably already overqualified,
Right.
and it's like, but how do you know if you don't? The worst thing that they can say is no. You could just get the email, that just says, well, hey, we have filled a position, or we went over your credentials and you don't fit the job, and that's okay. It's like
Yeah.
dating. It's like
Yeah.
dating. You ain't everybody cup of tea. They might like coffee. It's okay. Don't be discouraged by it because I guarantee you will get that yes.
Right. And it's funny you say that because if me personally, if it's just a job I want really bad, I may use a different email. You don't have to go
Mm.
for you don't have to go for the first note. Sometimes it takes just more than one time, or you just have to see what fits.
Right, right. Now, just to get in the back end of things a little bit more, because since you are the one who actually goes through these jobs and everything, what are the red flags for you that scream this could be a scam?
Yeah, so a company is never going to want you to pay for nothing. Never download Telegram. Now, Zoom is pretty common. Zoom and Microsoft Teams, that's pretty common. But if they're telling you to pay, do Telegram, or they sending you checks in the mail, I see that's a pretty off one too. Them are pretty much scams. So you do want to watch out for those. And I also have that in like my school community where how you can spot scams and legit jobs also.
Yeah, because realistically, and that's when we have to also use our better judgment as well, because
Right.
jobs are not going to send you a check before you have done your work. There's no job
Exactly.
in America that is going to pay you before you do your work. Like, I don't want to say use the common sense because we know it ain't that common, but just use your
Right.
better judgment. Like come on now, you just know you get a check before the work. So,
Yeah. Be careful with
but
that, you guys.
right. So on the flip side of it, with the red flags, like there are some green flags. Obviously, these are the jobs that you are posting actively
Hmm.
in your empire. What shows that it's legit?
Now, I would say LinkedIn, since I've been, in the job field searching, and when I drop on LinkedIn is my best friend. And we have another site called Welcome to the Jungle. Them are my two main ones. Now, you just want to always make sure that it's a legit website. Research the company if you have to. And then also see if they have reviews. Glassdoor is pretty good for reviews also. And then just see, you can also follow the recruiters also. but LinkedIn is going to be your best friend. Now, believe it or not, I hear a lot of people say LinkedIn is not pretty good, but honestly, I feel like they just don't know how to use it. Now, when you are on LinkedIn, you do have to filter like the remote, for remote jobs, but that's going to be your best friend.
Now y'all hearing it now. LinkedIn does work, just like I'm sure that there,
Absolutely.
like, to be honest with you, Indeed works. Like these places do work, but it, like you said, it's just user. It could be a user error, and that's okay. But this is why
Yeah.
we have people like yourself out here who
Mm-hmm.
have this business going, so we can invest in making sure that we are going the correct route with things. Now, when we're now talking about the job, and I know, you said LinkedIn was one of them as a legitimate remote job, like where you should be working. I know Indeed is one of them, if you do agree with that. I'm going to say where people should be looking for legitimate remote jobs is Work From Home Empire on Facebook.
Okay, okay. She dropped
Just
my
say that.
every day, all day.
I'm going
And
to just say
then
that, okay?
and then I try not to mix them on my page because being that the group has expanded so much, and now that I do still have a lot of six-figure honors in there, so I try to like separate the titles, being that so many people are looking for different things now. So I did catch that and then made a change with that also.
Now, and let me tell y'all, if y'all are on Facebook, Work From Home Empire, like we always do it towards the end of the show, Victoria's going to drop all of her channels and places and, emails and everything like that of where you can get in contact with her. Take my foolish advice and invest in yourself. It is worth it. I'm telling you, I'm going to share with you in a minute why I'm telling you to do this. Okay. But let's talk about, it's a lot of people out there that don't have degrees, right? What skills matter the most for work from home roles?
And it's funny that you said that degrees. I was actually gonna bring that up. Now, you do not when listen to me, you guys, you do not need no type of degree whatsoever. Even starting at like a starting salary, 45,000, you don't need a degree. Now, customer service is gonna be your biggest one. As long as you have customer service and you know how to work technology monitors, you pretty much already have the skills. You just have to apply yourself. So you do not need a degree, you guys. Now, if you're trying to get like a higher role, maybe like HR or some type of six-figure job, I would say that's a degree. But like the basic customer support, customer service, or even some type of healthcare, when they're hiring seasonal, you don't need a degree, you guys. You just have to apply yourself daily. And believe it or not, a lot of people think, oh, I applied to 5 or 10 jobs. I'm gonna say do at least 20 a day. If you're currently job hunting, 20 a day, because they have the applications where it's just so easy. You just put your email, your resume, and it pretty much upload. So yeah.
Yeah, it is that simple. Like,
Yes.
because this is something, of course she created this, but she also has been jobs searching and securing herself as well. And I myself have just, yes, we say recently invested in myself as well with Victoria, and have landed a new role where I'll be starting soon. So it is definitely something that if you are applying yourself and listen to what she's saying, use the wise counsel. She was over here. I'm telling you, y'all, I invested in myself. And when I did that, she creates the email. Now I mean, I'm gonna let her tell it too, but she creates you this email. I'm gonna give you my experience, okay? And she keeps up with the jobs that she applies if you choose to go with that service. But I also was applying to jobs, so together we knocking out probably like 20 something resumes like a day, just the two of us. And because by the time I go back on my email, I'm like, oh, well, she already, and then she'll message
Yeah.
me like, girl, you was on top of it.
Yes, and speaking on staying on top of it, that when I do say when you book me, that's the only thing I ask that you stay on top of it, because once I get started on you, we're gonna go nonstop, you guys, applying back after back after back. Only thing my people really have to do is they interviews, but I do give them like interview tips also. A lot of people they may get the job, or get the interview, and they suck at interviews. And I do tell them the STAR method is gonna be your best friend.
It sure is. Let me tell y'all, the STAR method and Chat GPT,
Yes,
we locked in. We are locked in. Okay.
yes,
Let me tell you, this job searching experience has really changed the game for me. It changed the game so much, even though I know we're talking about we mentioned that you don't need degrees, for work from home or anything like that, just to get your foot in the door. However,
hmm,
job searching definitely got me back in school. So not only,
yeah,
like, because when you're looking at certain jobs and that pay rate that you want, you don't, of course you don't want to be turned down. So I'm like, let me go back to school. Let me tap into a few things over here, so that way you have the skills, you have the experience, because they can go hand in hand when you are applying for some of these jobs, right? So
yeah.
that I'm telling y'all, if you are really applying, boom, that's the first thing that pops up on my timeline is Victoria. She done dropped some jobs in there, and I'm like, oh, I'm busy, y'all. I'm booking and busy because I'm over here putting in my application. It's so it's so worth it, and this is not a sales pitch. This is actually being truthful with my experience. And you all know who rock out with me here in the Ladies Lounge. I always bring people by because I say that we have the resources within our own community. I'm just here to I'm here to, take you to the water. Now it's up to you if you're gonna drink. Right. So
Absolutely.
it is up to you. But now I know it's so many people who are looking to get hired. I just recently went on, seen it on social media somewhere. Amazon just laid off. UPS is laying off. So
Yes.
what can someone do today to improve their chances of getting hired?
Join work for home remote empire. And follow my steps. I'm not gonna lead you wrong. But it's funny that you said that. I actually seen it also, and I was like, 16,000? That is a lot. That is a lot. But if I would them, if they didn't have a resume, they should go ahead and invest in the one. If they know they're gonna be looking, it may not be something that, I'm not sure if they're doing like unemployment with Amazon. I'm not sure how exactly they're gonna work, but if you know you're not gonna pick up something fast, start getting in them groups and applying yourself.
Right, right. Which takes me to my next question, because I know we kind of touched on this as
Mhm.
well. And I know it's tough. Like I'm just gonna keep it real. It's tough to be laid off of work and then now transitioning into, oh my gosh, I gotta work from home. I want to work from home, or I gotta find a job. And I don't even know the last time I even looked at a resume because I've been at this job so long. How
Right.
important is mindset during job search?
Yeah, so you do want to keep a positive mindset. Like I said, don't get discouraged, because I know sometimes when you go to LinkedIn, you may see 100 applicants that already applied within the first hour. But what I will give y'all some good gems. When you go on LinkedIn and they post their job, like refresh the screen, you can go see like the first 24 hours, the last 24 hours, or the past week. That's gonna be your best friend when a company posts like within the first couple hours. Go ahead and apply, because I don't did that so many times. I uploaded my resume, apply, and I got a call back the next day, you guys. And I recently did this with a collector because I have experience now. I got a call back, interview set up the next day, and they paying up to $31. I said, wow,
Hello.
wow.
Hello. Is mindset is everything. And like you said, and this is hopeful in hopes to encourage a lot of people, whether you have just, lost your job, are you looking to, change your have that mindset that I'm going to do this. Like, and you have to lock in, right? And invest in yourself. I took the time. Now, I'm not going to share with you how much I paid because when you go and you have your consultation with Victoria, you're going to talk about all that, right? But when I made the decision to say I'm going to pay this amount is because I'm investing in Brittany. Because I had to think about it. You either gonna pay that amount and DoorDash over some days. When you go into the outlet to get a purse, some shoes, go get your hair done, nails. There's nothing wrong with that, keeping up with yourself, but ultimately in certain spaces when we should be invested in ourselves, this is where that investment does matter as well. So when I said that I'm going to lock in, I'm going to book with Victoria because I knew where I wanted to go. I'm telling y'all, I don't even think it was a month later, if maybe a little over a month later, I've had an interview. Then the next day it was another schedule for now the longer interview with the manager. And then boom, the next day after that was the offer letter. And of course, with her work of revamping the resume, with her work of, hey, make sure you're using the STAR method and making sure that you're doing these things. Ultimately, once you lock in and you follow her lead, and also you have to speak life over yourself, secure the bag.
Absolutely, Brittany. Absolutely. And then also another thing about your mindset, believe it or not, clean up your social media. If it's not just for
Mhm.
friends only, don't make it public. You never know who watching you, so make sure you do clean up them pages because the recruiters do be looking. And when you are using the emails, make sure they, are professional emails. They look at the most simplest thing when it comes to applying to these jobs, you guys. So you just want to keep that in mind. I've seen plenty of people, even me. I don't be qualified for no job at all. But it just be the resumes and it'd be like, don't quit, don't disappear. And you'll get it. I mean,
Right.
they have to train you anyway, you guys. So you never need experience. They have to train you anyway.
That is so true. You listen, I'm just here to back up what she's saying because I know my story and she know my story, which is why I wanted to share this. And this episode was another one that's so personal to me because it can get done. You just have to change your mindset. I did it, y'all. I told you when I have people that come by, this is a part of my life that I am sharing with you in hopes that it can help someone. So now speaking to my stay-at-home parents, how realistically can they work from home and still parent and do all that stuff?
Yes, I feel like a stay-at-home mom, it is possible for her to do it. Whether she want to set up daycare or the kids can stay there with her, just make sure you get on a routine. You may can also invest into headsets. What they call them headsets, the headphones, the cancellation noise. You invest into
Yeah.
those, like it will work. I don't help plenty of people like started from the bottom or they just transition and don't know where to start. It's just really about mindset and sacrificing. I will say, but you do have to have some structure if you want to have kids at home with you. Being that you're not going to be able to talk on the phone and trying to run a babysitter, it's just not going to work.
That is so true. But see, it is realistic. Like, and it goes back to what we were saying, just before when you have that mindset, there are ways that it can happen. I've even worked with people who were pregnant, went through their whole pregnancy working from home, and then, of course, had their leave, and then when they came back they still had to take care of the baby. So, and I would
Yep.
ask like, girl, how you do it? They like put the baby in the little seat and they be
Yeah.
rocking and taking their calls, rocking the baby with the foot. Like it can be done. Just like we make sure, when we want to do other things, it gets done. So it's just a matter of just don't overthink it. Don't look at it as a task more so than, what's the outcome, finding your why. You find your why in everything that you do. Now,
Absolutely.
let's talk about the people who are trying to leave these toxic workplace. And
Oh,
they on the people clock trying to find another job. Y'all know how y'all do out there.
it's so funny that you say that. I would do that so fast if I got pissed off enough. I would go on Indeed or LinkedIn so fast. But from the past month, I have not actually had that happen. Like I said, I actually like my job where I'm at now. But you can always leave a toxic situation, you guys. Now just like I said, just transfer your skills over. You don't have to be stuck. Yeah, I mean, career change don't start, it don't mean you started from zero. You just reposition yourself at the end of the day. So, like I said, I used to work at a warehouse, so remote is completely new for me. And you have to deal with
Wow.
yelling customers. So imagine how I had to transform and transition out of that.
So you used to work in the warehouse, and then now you went to working from home and built this work from home empire.
Yes, and when I tell you a lot can really happen in a year, a lot can happen in a year. Now, I really see the group. I would say I'm gonna give it probably the end of this year. I really see it sitting at like 10 to 20K. As
Okay.
long as I keep going, and get more people tuned in, that's why I'm transitioning into TikTok. You can also find me on TikTok. You guys work from home remote empire. All my social media is the same. So I do plan on, expanding more.
So there you have it. I know some of y'all was waiting for that to know if she's on TikTok, she's on Facebook. Like, where can we find her? And
Yeah.
just to take a moment, thank you all who are watching live, taking time out for this very important conversation because I know whether you're trying to change your career path or you just wanting to transition into working from home, this is definitely the episode that you want to tap in and tune into. So thank you so much for being here. Now, here in the Ladies Lounge, we are very uplifting and inspiring. We talk about elevation all the time, honey. Now, how does working from home change a woman's and so men? How do they change the confidence?
Well, I would say confidence. To be honest, I really can't answer that one. I would say now just depending on if you want to get dressed or not, but you have some people, I would say even though you're still working from home, still dress up. Like even so let me use me for example. Like I have an hour lunch break at work, right? So I'm still gonna like take a shower, cook, clean up the house. Just don't get too lazy just because you're working at home. I always still keep that momentum if that makes sense. So
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I've had that, from time to time. And then sometimes I separate the two. Like I'm like, nope, I'm not doing anything until I get off from work. But, I think it can boost too the confidence for people who are not so big on speaking in public, right? And having that face-to-face engagement, it can help in that way because then now you're over the phone, you're in the comfort of your own home. Let me shout out to my work from home baddies who have their desk set up. They are so inspiring, because I'm like, oh, I'm gonna set my desk up like this too and make it my own. And you don't have to worry about people telling you can't have this and that. You can hang up your pictures and affirmations or whatever it is that you want. So I'm always getting inspiration from TikTok University.
Yes,
So shout out
yes.
to my work from home. I call them work from home baddies. Now, what does building your own empire look like in this space?
Building my own.
Hmm.
Well, could you clarify that like a little bit more for me?
So, like when you are building your own, like you've built this brand, what does that look like? Like, how do you? We know where you started from and the reason for it. How do you keep up? What does the upkeep look like?
Okay, got you. Okay, now I will say it's a lot of working on the weekends, working after your 9 to 5. It's a lot of that just to make sure other people get the results that they're looking for. So I will say that it's a lot of following up. You do have to have good communication skills if you're going to be helping other people find jobs. So I would say that's how the back end look. It can seem easy because you're just posting jobs, but that's not always the case. You may have people saying, "Hey, check your email. Hey, can you do this? Can you do that?" Just you'll be like, "Just give me a moment, okay?" But at the end of the day, all come along together. So I would say that.
Oh, that's really good. And let me tell you, I love that because this is also something that I don't want people to shy away from. when you are doing your interviews, like you just said, can you rephrase the question if you don't understand it? And I wanted
Mm-hmm.
to zone in on that because some people, you know, they may get stuck in that space of, I don't know what they just asked me, you know.
Yeah.
So, and you could check the temperature of when you are doing the interview as well of your
Yep.
person, right? So, when I was doing my interviews, whether I was on the other end as the interviewer or the interviewee,
Mm-hmm.
I've always made it a space where it's light, you know, and if we could have fun and laugh, that's what we're going to do. So
Right.
that way, when I do have my moments where I don't understand the question, then I could be like, I'm just be honest with you. I don't, you know, I don't really don't know what you just said. And we'll just
Right.
laugh it off, you know. So they was like, and then they'll be like, I don't even know what that question means. We can move on to the next one. It's like,
Right. That's one thing about when you are doing interviews. Don't be so hard on yourself, you guys. Like some of them may be a hit and miss. And now I do believe some of these jobs do too much for interviews for the pay they be asking for it. But that's a whole nother story. But don't be so hard on yourself, you guys. If one job don't work out, keep applying. Go to the next. I
yeah.
mean, don't stay stuck on one job beating yourself up.
And what would you say about too? Even when you get the offer letter, like to keep applying, would you recommend?
So it just depends, like if it's not the pay you're looking for, or you're just it's not the field that you're wanting to be in. You maybe just needed something quick. So I would say that's a yes and a no. It just all depends on the person. Like I said, I started off making $12 at one job, and then like 14 at the other. And then like as I got more advanced, I'm making like 20 and 25. So I would say that's a yes and a no. So yeah.
Like that, you know, yes and no. So it's just where you see yourself, where you fit in that
Mhm.
category. So I like that. Now, with talking about all this work from home stuff, right? What's a must-have tool for working from home that you have? Like you just got to have this at your desk.
Now that I'm more advanced, I do need dual monitors. I cannot concentrate without dual monitors. Also Zoom is going to be your biggest one. And also, I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys use like Word doc. If you want to practice for your interviews, like Brittany said, use ChatGPT because normally when I prepare for my interviews, sometimes they make it to be like a day before, or they may be like an hour ahead of time. Get you a dual monitor, you guys. You have your laptop set up, have your dual monitor set up, and you can, practice on your questions like that ahead of time. So you just want to be so nervous when you're in the actual interviews.
So I'm gonna tell y'all a little secret when I'm doing my interviews and I'm laughing. So I like to look at myself when I'm doing my interviews, I have a mirror.
Mm-hmm.
So I could look at myself and, you know, you practice how you sit, even though this is virtual. But I don't know. I like to just see myself. So if I'm making a face or, you know, something like that. And like you said, I practice with this mirror as well. So it helps with if you are, I'm not afraid to speak, as y'all can see, I have a whole podcast, but it still doesn't mean that you don't get nervous. So
Right,
don't
right.
take that away from yourself, right? You still could get hiccups. It's just learning how to maneuver through a lot of things. I personally would say, depending on the job, and again, checking the temperature, me personally, what works for me is having fun with it, right? It is seriousness in your interviews, of course, especially when you get a really good person. Have fun, because also too that brings out your personality of who you are. You gonna get this same version of me on this podcast, then like you would on that phone when you call in as well. We gonna have a good time on my line.
Yeah, and it's funny you said that. Like, I don't have plenty of interviews. Like I said, but where I'm at now, I've been there for a minute. But like before that, I was just doing like interviews back after back after back. And some of the interviews may go good and they'll still go with other candidates, but don't get discouraged. Just go to the next. And you can also reach out to recruiters and be like, hey, what do I need to do different so you can improve on yourself? That's a pretty good one too, you guys. Take feedback. That's gonna be your biggest thing when you're trying to open to remote work. Always take feedback.
And what about too the part of asking questions? You know, when they ask you, do you have any questions? You want to
Yes.
make sure that you do have questions, because and this again, this is just my experience when I have did my interviews, that question comes up. What question do you have? Well, yes, how does training look? What are your expectations of these questions? Hello, go to ChatGPT. What questions should I ask for such and such job role? This is what I'm
Yes.
doing. And it's again going back to why I wanted to have this episode, because I know with the time that you have with your own work and your own life, and then trying to answer questions and and your work from home empire, it could be a lot, right? So this is why I
Yes.
wanted to just take this time out to just have this quick conversation to give some tools and nuggets that, if that way you can understand what you get when you do book with Victoria.
Absolutely. And then even though if you guys are not booking, use the resources. They're there. Like even a free template resume is in a group, you guys. I even have a whole school community. Like the resources are there because sometimes I have other businesses too. I'm not gonna always just be available. So that's why I constantly provide the resources for you guys. Make sure you take advantage of them and use them. If you have questions, drop them because I do answer back in the comments.
Right. And I love that you said that, because, for my seasoned saints, as I call them, our older generation who are not so tech savvy with understanding how just Facebook work in itself, because it's not something you use on a day to day. But when you
Mm-hmm.
are in that work from home group, there is a magnifying glass at the top, I believe it is,
It is.
that you can type in what it is that you look for and go right to it. You don't even
Yep.
have to scroll through everything. People put in this group questions. Like if you just went on an interview with Bank of America, for a specific role, people ask these questions, and then now I'm over here like, okay, well then, now I know, hey, they ask these questions on the interviews, and go to Chat GPT, use your it's like a community within itself, and
Right.
I think it's just so cool because you have different ages. You posting six-figure jobs, like you said. So it doesn't entry level to six-figure jobs, right? It ain't no
Mm-hmm.
discrimination. So
Exactly.
I
Exactly.
highly recommend y'all get on this train so you don't get left.
Yes, because in 2026, and another thing that I do want to mention now, I do realize a lot of people are kind of stuck in their ways and they don't want to admit that, like you said, looking for a job and doing resume yourself is a whole job. So you're gonna have to come out the whole thing, or this used to work. I had such and such experience. You guys, that is not gonna cut it no more. You have to, get what's going on now because things are changing. And as you can
They
see
are.
with the resume, you guys, most of these people don't even have a human looking at resumes. They have what they call an ATS system, and it scan them.
That is so true. Now, are your resumes do they cater to ATS?
Yes, they do. That's the format I make them in. They're pretty much simple, straight down. And then another thing with the resumes, I may have some people that book me with like years or experience, or they have like multiple jobs. I tell them you don't need no more than 1 or 2 pages when it comes to resumes. But I make mine simple format, just straight, clean, flat, 1 or 2 pages at the most.
Yeah. Simplicity. Sometimes that'll get you a lot further than, like you said, the extra stuff. Because on the other,
Yes,
and they don't want to read all that, honestly. Anyway,
yes.
so just simplicity is the way to go. Now, before we close out, y'all, she is a one-stop shop. And I do want her to touch on this a little bit because we are in our most favorite season of the year, and that's income tax. It's tax return time. So she also do offer that service as well. And I know she's gonna share with us how we can find her. But my main question, what I wanted to ask you with that service, how
Mhm.
important it is for us to be filing our taxes.
Now, it just depends on your income. Now, you have up to 3 years to file your tax return, but it also just depends. You have some people that don't have to file a tax return. Just depending on if you have kids. Now just keep in mind if you do have like any type of debt, or back pay, they will take that. And now they're getting to the point where they will send letters. If you're trying to file like the current year, you'll get a letter from the previous year. So it just depends on the person income and all that also.
Okay. Now, are you open to taking more clients if there's anybody that's watching that needs? You
Girl,
know, they taxes done.
when I'm not taking client is the question. I have all my links pretty much in one place, whether it's on my link tree or they can just go to the Work from Home Empire and click my page. I pretty much have everything posted. So yeah.
I know we have been saying this throughout this conversation, but the people want to know. Just drop your socials. Where can people find you? We need it's tax time. We trying to get jobs. Like, where do we find you?
Yes, and then the thing about the people that are following me with me this year, they actually get free resumes. So you can't beat that. Now, just depending on if somebody just need everything, a whole package, I might offer them a whole work from home package. It just all depends on what they need. But you can find me on TikTok. It's gonna be Work from Home Remote Empire. Now, Lemon 8 is one of my favorite also, you guys. It's gonna be pretty much the same name all aboard. Work from Home Remote Empire on TikTok, Facebook, and then Lemon 8. Now I am kind of transitioning to Instagram, but I'm not a really big Instagram, so we just gonna keep it on Facebook and TikTok right now. And then also my school community. That is a free community as well. I do have like more templates available for you guys on there if you just join there. So yes.
Now, what's school community?
Now I actually created school because a lot of people when I did transition into TikTok, they was like, I don't have Facebook or even Threads. Yeah, it was Thread that made me do it. It was Thread and TikTok. They was like, I don't have Facebook. How else can we find you? So that's when I made school. You just join. It's like a basic app you can download on the Play Store. Now I actually have almost 700 members on there, you guys. So it's pretty like a backup for the people on Facebook. It's a backup community. But it is a free community. I'm pretty much active on Facebook, but they have more like templates on school. So
Yeah, I
yes.
hear she's everywhere except for Instagram. And so
Yes.
you can't say that we did not tell you where you need to be. And let me just share this with you because she mentioned something. So a part of being in the work from home group, I actually back in May last year, she did like a raffle and I was one of the winners. So I won a resume revamp. And I was so excited. And then at the time, I was just like, this, like I won this. And like, what do I do? And you just never know. So don't block your blessings, get out your own way. And before we close out, we always ask our guests, what is one piece of advice that you have for someone who is wanting to, get that work from home job, wanting to apply themselves?
Stay positive, keep going, don't give up. Don't say you're overqualified because that's never the case. Make sure that resume align. If you need help, reach out because resources are available. It is 2026. Get it together and stop complaining. Okay.
Yeah, get it together and stop complaining because again y'all the resources is here and thank you so much like for just stopping by taking time out of your day your evening um if this episode, y'all, has inspired you, has helped you, please share this. We don't gatekeep over here. Share this with anyone who needs income, flexibility, or just a fresh start. Opportunities are out here as we have just explained to you. Sometimes we just need the right information and the right people to guide us. And I'm telling you, this is the right person. Take it from me. If you want to have a personal conversation, call me, DM me. Like I will tell you what it is that I did to apply myself and how you need to go and book with Victoria, book her services. So make sure, as always, y'all like, comment, and subscribe to the Ladies Lounge podcast. Make sure you go on over to Facebook as well and check out Work from Home Empire with Victoria. Turn on all your notifications so you don't miss any and all episodes here in the Ladies Lounge and all my content that I post because I said I was going to let y'all in a little bit more on my life. So just so you all know of what's going on, remember here we are about growth, faith, and real life solutions. So remember, your home can be your office, your peace, and your paycheck, y'all. Don't get discouraged, like she said. Remember, here in the ladies' lounge, we don't shrink, we shine. We don't compete, we connect. And we don't talk, we grow. This is the ladies' lounge. I'm your host, Britt Danielle. Remember, everyone has a voice, everyone has a power. And if you would love to connect with me, you know where to find me in these social streets. If you would love to be my next special guest, just DM me, get at me, y'all. Until then, I love y'all. I'll see y'all next month. We at the end of January.